Just not used to this strict discipline.
It's awful. Can't figure it out, man. Same time every day.
It hurts.
It does.
It just fucking hurts.
Discipline is like.
I know.
Argh.
I know. It blows.
Well, it's supposed to be good for you. That's what the
I've
whole
experienced
stoicism-
that once or twice in my life. Discipline being good for me.
That's
Or at least it
what
was
she
enjoyable.
Ooh.
Missed your window.
Countdown. Where's the countdown?
Huh? 144.
Is it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my God, what do you want? Oh God, he wants water. Hang on. How dare he want water?
He always wants
Water.
something.
Thirsty again?
He runs all over the house and barks. He barks at the door, let me out. He barks at the sink, let me drink. He barks at the food, let me eat. He's so demanding.
If he didn't, all of our animals would probably die of starvation and
Probably.
dehydration. Because
He's
he's my
just-
taskmaster.
He's the most disciplined person in this house.
Oh wow,
That's
that's
Mr. Tater Tot.
that's saying a lot.
Tater T Tot. Tot Tot.
Tater hole.
Don't say that. That's gross.
That's the secret word for the day. That's the password.
No, it's
Good morning,
not.
Jeff. The password, the secret word for
No, it's
today,
not.
Jeff. The secret
No,
word.
it's not.
It is. Shut up. I'm gonna mute you. The secret word for today is tater hole.
Unmute me.
I
It
did.
is not.
It is so.
Oh, good morning, Jeff. Tater hole. He's a sweetie. Don't be mean to Mr. Tater. Tater, come
He's
here.
the T-man.
Tater. Tater, come. Come on.
Uh-oh.
Come on. Come on.
All right, you're going to be on
Tater.
camera now. Look out.
Tater, come.
Hide everything.
Tater, come.
Hide the sex.
why is he
hide
all
the
wet?
hide all the sex toys.
Why is he all wet?
I don't know. What's he been doing? Did he go outside?
He's soaking wet. Why is he all wet?
Oh, he's been drinking.
From his back?
Well, the other dogs are It's a drinking party right now because he brought attention to the fact that there was no water. So
Good morning,
I
Tater.
filled the water bowl, and then he's got that beard. He's got that chin hair shit going on.
Ew, he's all wet.
I know. Well, it's like I want to trim that stuff off. He also gets really nasty eye boogers.
Oh,
right?
Do we stop?
What?
Just stop.
But he's a good dog. He's a good dog. I like
good
him.
dog.
Want to go down to Florida? Want to just like your mom does? Take him to the little
Take him to the salon.
the barber.
Get how much? Guess how much they cost to my mom. Okay. So my mom got a poodle, and she got the poodle. She gets a poodle fucking haircut. It looks ridiculous. Anyway, so she had
Charlie. Charles.
So she had Charlie.
I call him Charles. It is funny.
So
he
would you
just
would you
humps all
shut
the time.
up?
Charles, listen, this is funny, man.
This is not
Charles
funny.
gets near Tater and he gets within like about 2 feet of him and he starts like this humping shit.
He's a gay cousin.
He's a gay cousin, right? So anyway, go on with your story.
I don't remember my story.
No. About what?
I don't remember.
What are you talking about? Oh, come on. We're talking about
Tater.
yeah, Tater and getting a haircut and all that shit. And Charles,
Yes.
Charlie. What about Charlie?
Charlie gets a haircut. Oh, so my mom goes, I'm going to call up the lady and see if she can come to the house and do it because they got some medical stuff going on, right? $120 later. I mean, come on.
No, come on now. Fuck that shit.
Come on.
I'm going to go down to PetSmart.
Come on.
I'm going to fucking go down to PetSmart and I'm going to go here and cut the hair. Well, was it that
We did
expensive
that.
when we did it like 5 years ago? But that was the last time we gave all the doggies a haircut and shit.
We
and
spent
gave
like
them
$300
when
but
we
got
sold the house.
the nails and the
Yeah.
fleets and the everything.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
We were like we wanted
We had 4
out of our
dogs.
old lives and we're going to new lives, and so yeah, we did that. So he's going to go to the salon,
The salon.
The
Hello,
salon.
baby.
right? So good morning. It's
He
good to
needs
have
it.
you here.
Good morning. Where's Denise?
Oh yeah, I don't know, man. Denise is not in the house.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, we actually own a set of clippers. We do. We shave them down from time to
do?
time. Well, yeah. What do you think? How I use? What I use? I think I use on me.
Oh.
I use the animal clippers.
Same thing.
Remember the animal clippers
Yes.
that we've got? We've shaved him down a number of times,
Yeah.
and
He doesn't have good hair. He's a Pomapoo. He's a Pomeranian poodle.
so it's a
mix.
mixture. It's
And
weird.
His hair is like
Nappy.
No, not
Nah, it's
nappy.
nappy. No, it can be. It can get
Maybe
nappy.
but no, it's like cotton candy. It's a little too soft.
He's sweet though, man. There's nothing like being grounded with an animal in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Especially if you have any sort of anxiety or depression. You know, there's that whole thing about emotional support animals. There's nothing bullshit about that. I mean, look, I hate the fucking left,
Yeah.
but the left or the ones that thank you. That was delightful.
Excuse me.
The left made it you fucking did it. You did it. You cracked
I
me
do
up.
it?
Yeah.
What were you
This
saying?
comedy thing is competitive. So anyway, as I was saying before I was rudely interrupted
Why
by
don't
that
you finish what you were
obnoxious
saying? Oh my
slurp.
god.
was that the left
Taking
made
so
this
long.
oh my god.
Okay. The left. What did the left?
I was
do?
able to take my dog right on a plane, Fat Mo,
Oh my god. 70-pound Australian
80,
Shepherd.
80-pound Australian Shepherd.
He was dense.
Most loyal dog you've ever seen. Actually, Mo was my daughter's dog, and the backstory behind that, right? I don't think I've told this story before. Is that toward the end, right, when everything started to deteriorate with my kids and stuff, and I remember writing a text to my daughter saying some shit about. It was, the FAFSA. Remember the fucking FAFSA that I had to
my
do
God.
for the, all the Pell Grants and loans and Jesus
Yeah.
Lord. It was awful, right? And I hated it. Remember how I dreaded doing
Yeah.
that shit? And there was a
Yeah.
her login and my login and,
they
I mean,
didn't make
it's,
it
and
very
it's
easy.
really super important, right? And one time I finally said, I'd really like to get a text or a message from you when you don't need something.
Right.
Yeah, that was pretty much the beginning of the end.
Oh.
Right. And then I remember, and then at the end, right there, that was finally when I said "fuck you." And, but I basically said emotionally "fuck you." I stopped doing the FAFSA thing. I stopped, and you call the government and try and figure out what the fucking password is with your stinking bitch ass mother. Okay, she was awful.
Yes, she
Tell them just like in 10 seconds how evil this fucking woman was. How long were we in court with my
Snow White's
kids?
stepmother.
Oh my God. My ex-wife was, oh my God. You know what? I'm just going to go, she's okay. Because that's the only description for her. She didn't care about the children.
No.
She didn't care about anything. Everything we ever did was evil. It's the same. Like it's the Democrat Party, right? Everything Donald Trump does, and we'll watch some stuff this morning in a minute, maybe when I get going. But everything that Trump does is evil. He lies. He's a fool. He's a complete bumbling fool.
Yeah.
But yet, it's the Democratic Party that's all on fire right now, right? So, hey, hi,
Hi.
good morning.
Just feeling a little funny.
Feeling funny? Okay, hang in there. Let me let the dog out.
Okay.
So we've been watching Morning Joe this morning. Talk about that a little. Mika and Joe.
Mika and Joe.
Meltdown.
There's 2 Joes, aren't there? Joe Scarborough and
Yeah.
is that Mika? Is that Mika's Joe?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a second Joe, but those clowns over
There's
there.
2
man,
guys. What are the
meatheads.
2 guys' names?
I don't know. We'll watch a little bit of it this morning because
Okay. We'll figure
because
it out.
they're it's interesting because they're like pivoting back toward trying to, I mean, because they have to salvage the platform, right, and it's going down like in such flames right now that their duality, they can't support Biden. They know they've been complicit in the cover up, and then and so they are literally, their gears, you can smell the smoke, right, of the clutch.
Yeah.
They're burning the clutch out, right? Come on. That was the part where you were supposed to carry the show while I went and let the dog in.
Oh, but you're still talking.
Completely
What?
fell down on your face. Good morning, Denise.
Denise, serious.
Yeah, see, is that your excuse? Is you're not with it because Denise wasn't here? Your cheerleader,
Yes, I
your
was
main
all thrown
cheerleader.
out, going out of balance.
Yeah, she's out of balance this morning. That's for
I'm
damn
not
sure.
awake yet.
She's like, no. Neither of us are really feeling it. Matter of fact, I didn't even pull a brush through my hair this morning. Oh my God, I look terrible. Thank God you don't tune in for my good looks. You tune in for my amazing voice and humor and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. So anyway, the kids, man. Well, geez, what a terrible situation that was. So and like I said, not to wallow in it, but it's crazy. I mean, it's like this whole thing with the Democrats right now. Is they're losing their minds. And so I'm going to go through our history a little bit. I don't know. We consume a lot of media quickly, and so I'm going to roll down through the history in YouTube in a minute. And we're going to play a couple of things and go through some stuff until we get bored with it and then jump to the next. But it's just interesting because they're torn in two, man, the Democrats completely.
Yep.
We're going to see this whole line of Democrats going into this meeting they had, right? Was it congressional people? And they had, what's that lady's name with the pink, wears the pink cowboy hats and shit?
Alfreda. No,
What a clown. They're all clowns, right? And so, but like, starkly divided, like Frederica Wilson.
Okay.
What a clown. But they're all clowns. It's like that Essence conference that we watched the other day with the interviewing. All right, so we're having all right, so tell me, explain this to me. Is it Kamala? What? How? What?
Say Mamala.
Kamala?
That's how you say it, Kamala.
That sounds about as fucking ridiculous as her.
Yep.
Or just, I mean,
Yep.
is that the official way? Because we got it now. We're gonna start. I mean, if she's gonna be like President Kamala.
Mamala.
Kamala. Okay, all right. I'll get it.
Okay.
I'll get it. Kamala. Says
I can't
Chad.
make this work.
What do you mean?
It won't stand up.
How about that?
Thank you. You made it stand up. Thank you.
Wouldn't want Mama hot and sweaty, at least not right now.
Oh.
So, all right, let's move on to some entertainment, shall we?
Entertainment?
Yeah, well, at least maybe somebody else. Kamala.
Mamala? Mamala?
Isn't it Kamala? You sure Kamala just feels so much better. I've been calling her Kamala forever.
Well, do what you like.
I mean, George Bush used to say Iraq. There's Iraq and there's Iraq. I mean, difference. Tomato. It's all the same damn thing. Potato. Let's just call the whole thing off, right? Okay, so let's go over here to the history. Let's just randomly pick some shit we watched earlier this morning. And God, you just insert all this other crap, making this curation very difficult in the morning because you watch all this. And then still we got Maggie Haberman. What the hell is Maggie Haberman still doing, hanging out on the history? She's a bitch. I'm starting to get pissed off, man. Okay, so and thank God I'm going to spare you the Lady Gaga poker face that I had to fucking listen to this morning. What a bunch of pop drivel that shit is. You know, it's okay. I get it. You know, I've knocked a few back. It's like, my, polka. It's catchy. Okay. It's just, I don't know. Okay. What are we going to watch? Let me see. La, na, 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 na. Biden is trying to fend off a mutiny.
What is happening?
Let's start here.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jesse Waters, along with Judge.
I can make
Jeanine
fun
Pirro,
of Judge Jeanine
Harold Ford Jr.,
Pirro.
Dana Perino,
Look at
and
that
Greg
green
Gutfeld.
puke
5 o'clock in New York City.
thing.
and
She's
this
wearing
is
melon-colored
The Five.
shoes too.
Oh.
Yeah. That lady, man, is like the Crypt Keeper too,
Just
almost.
moments from now, President
Any
Biden
moment now,
about
her
to
face
face
will
another
fall.
critical
Yeah, it's gonna
test.
fall.
Reassure world
like a
leaders
cake.
that his brain's fine, and that he's up to the job as he addresses NATO's 75th anniversary summit. And while we wait for that, it's a full-blown Democrat dumpster
We
fire.
streamed that live
President
yesterday.
Biden trying to fend off a mutiny as congressional
Look at
Democrats
now, look at this-
hold 2 secret crisis
clowns.
meetings on Capitol Hill over what to do about old Yeller.
Look,
The big
look
guy's
at
been
that!
working-
Look.
Oh my God. Is that Louis Vuitton stuff she's wearing?
Of course it is, and you know, Congresswomen should be able to afford Louis Vuitton or whatever the shit that kind of fashion frickin' nightmare is. The powers that be say what people should wear. What a lunatic!
She saves on hair care.
Yeah, and then this whole what is it called? Propecia or alopecia or whatever. Just put on a fucking wig like every other black woman.
Yeah.
They all wear wigs anyway. Am I wrong about that or not? Every single time we see a knockdown drag out with a bunch of Afro-American women or
Right.
black, whatever. What's the appropriate? What do we call them now? Black people.
Black people.
Are we back to where we started again finally? Well, thank frickin'
You
God.
can't say colored people.
But
and you can't say people
well, no,
of
wait a
color.
minute. No, you're wrong. Okay, it's
Black.
it's people of color, which is really weird because
black.
no wait. There's what? Stop. What is the name of the organization? It's the NAACP, the National Association of Colored People. So why is it now that NAAPC? That would be more PC. That would be more PC.
Yeah.
I put you back on. Don't be so pissy.
Fine.
But seriously, put on a
my
wig.
God.
You're whatever you're doing there. It's not working. And so it's fun to watch them all in a huge panic as they walk into this big meeting. This is funny.
The phones, making it clear he's not going
I
anywhere.
mean, what is that? Wakanda forever? What is this going on right now?
Making it
Oh God! I think she could have gone up on the hoop size though. Don't you?
Yes.
I mean,
sure.
shit. She could have gone up, man, another at least inch in overall diameter on that
That's
hoop.
what he
I'm
said.
kind of disappointed. I'm disappointed in the hoop size. Can't make a dirty joke out of that.
it clear he's not going anywhere. But Joe's hostage negotiations are just splitting the caucus. Democrats are coming out of those meetings saying there's
Look
no
at Debbie
agreement yet
Dingell.
on Biden's future.
She's pissed.
Only
It's
heartache.
hilarious.
Axios
Crotchety
reports on a
old
group
woman.
of swing district Democrats who held what sources described as a despondent gathering with actual tears.
Yeah, they cried.
But not for Biden.
I love
for
it.
their own hides. And one anonymous Democrat lawmaker told Punchbowl News that the meeting felt like a funeral. Check out how unified the party is.
A funeral.
Are you all on the same page?
No. What do you mean you're not on the same page?
They're not even in the same book.
Joe Biden all the way. Joe Biden.
Joe
He
Biden.
just has to step down because he can't win.
Are you worried about his cognitive ability?
No, I'm not. I've been with him in the last few weeks.
I talked to him all the time. Biden being on the ticket.
Of course I do.
We are riding with Biden.
Riding with
hearing
Biden.
discussions and legitimate questions about the president, and I continue to listen.
Senator Warren, do you have concerns about Biden? Do you support Biden? I'm up in finance.
There's one person in this country that's kicked Trump in 2020, and that's why my money is now in 2024.
First of all, I don't know, man. That Fetterman is not much. I thought he was getting better. I really did. And I heard him the other day, and he's like standing next to Joe Biden, and he's like,
Yeah.
Joe Biden is good, and Donald Trump is
Worse.
bad. So I'm with Joe. He's like a functional idiot. Okay. I mean, I was kind of like, he started saying some good shit about Israel and kind of stuff. And he made some sense for like a minute. And then now he's throwing in behind the lunatic, like the demented, Parkinson's riddled man. I mean, it is absolutely insane.
And after getting skipped over yesterday, the Deuce got a crack at the binder over Biden's health.
Does President Biden commit to serving a full
The
second
Deuce.
term if reelected?
Yes.
Why doesn't anybody in the president's family urge him just to go to get checked out to say...
What a great
The
question.
White House medical unit, his doctor,
His doctor?
they don't believe that he needs
He
anything
needs
more.
anything
than
more.
what-
Then they're idiot doctors. They're stupid. Okay, when the general public on a daily basis and the press pool and everybody can see that this man is clearly, he's got facial problems, he's got voice regulation problems, he's got the stiff movements,
Anger.
he's got the anger problems, and as we'll see, he's got the slee stack hands. Okay, this guy, everybody can see it, but apparently the cadre of special experts that are surrounding the president that are just across the colonnade he checks in. Remember, he checks in a couple of times a week after his. Apparently, he doesn't do checkups. He does check-ins. Check-ins.
Yeah.
Well,
Doesn't count.
but except they don't exactly explain what the hell a check-in is.
Right.
Right. They go. He just, he's working out every morning. He's running on that treadmill for 45 minutes an hour after having his monster drink and coffee or whatever the hell he does in the morning and talking to 18 world leaders. And then he just, what does he do? Pop his head in and go, "Hey, Doc, just checking in." Checking in. And the doc goes, "How you doing, Joey boy? Joey baby?" And Joe goes,
Fine.
"I'm just right as rain, by golly. No malarkey today." No malarkey today. So, yeah, man. Good. I'm going to need another coffee this morning, and I think my wife is about to die over here. She is not looking well.
I don't feel good.
All right.
I ate or drank something yesterday I shouldn't have.
Okay. All right. Well, let's try and save this wreck of a show. Then let's move on.
Oh.
Let me see. Let's continue to watch your tap dance and see if there's anything more I can soak out of this.
We have been able to provide a full, detailed,
full.
very comprehensive.
I mean, it's so full. It's full. Right? You understand? It is a full. This person is evil, and she's a moron. She's an evil moron.
Very comprehensive physical that he had 4 months ago. It is their decision to make. It's not yours. It's not mine. It's the White House Medical Unit.
Wow. It's all right. So when somebody has dementia, they're no longer really capable of making decisions for themselves anymore. Isn't that where we're at here? And again, I say to you that we're going to continue for a little while to watch some more news, and I still am astounded by the fact that we're not talking about the 25th Amendment. Now, if you remember, there was a litany of people that were calling for the 25th Amendment on who? Donald Trump.
Yep.
When he was in office. Right? Where are they now? If he can't be the standard bearer for this party, then how can he be standard bearer for the United States of America? Really?
Are you sure that a handful of events is giving him a representative view of swing state voters?
For the past 3.5 years, the president has been out there. He did a rope line, engaged with everyday people.
He did a rope line. Do you know what? I got married once, right? And then people went through the line and I shook their hands and shit. Said, "Yeah, hi, I don't know who the fuck you are, but hi."
Right.
That's a pretty low bar. I mean, functioning bar, I think. He did a rope line all by himself. Oh, yay, Joe, yay. All right, Mama. Why don't you just put your head down?
Who has the
Get it over
momentum?
with.
The anti-Biden Democrats or the pro-Biden Democrats?
Can you go lay down?
The answer is Donald Trump. Because since the debate, the Democrats have lost every single day in the news cycle since then. And President Trump's played it smart, played it cool. Even he did the Hannity interview last night, but didn't make a ton of news. He will make news when he makes his vice presidential choice. And next week, you'll see a lot of the Republicans. I still think that the story is going to largely be about Biden. When it comes to the Democrats, this meeting was very interesting. It was like live on Newsroom, and these guys love a camera, but everybody went right by the cameras. Nobody wants to talk except for a few. And they basically say, everyone is fired up and we are on the same page. Okay, that's what some people said. Then other people came out and said, we aren't even in the same book. So they are not unified. I also think it's interesting that Hakeem Jeffries left through the back door because he didn't want to talk about it anymore. Because now he's realizing, okay, so if it's going to be him and he's not going to leave, then I guess we just have to deal with that. Plus, there's senators like Senator Patty Murray from Washington. She ripped the Wall Street Journal for its reporting a couple of weeks ago, saying that there are 45 sources saying that Joe Biden has cognitive decline. But now she's saying, we need to see improvement from Biden now. Senator Fetterman, that's the best friend you could ever have. Right? If he's your friend and he is loyal and he is the only one who's willing to calmly take questions.
This clown show. This is what I'm telling you, people. These are characters. They're fakes. They're facades. They are ridiculous. I mean, look at this absolute asshat. What I mean, look at the size of those pearls. Fake pearls, by the way, and those windshields that she's wearing, and whatever crap she's dangling off of her ears, and that enormous thing that looks like a shower scrunchie. You know what I'm talking about? My wife buys those things, and she hangs them on the damn the shower head. Never uses them. You know, they just hang there. And then, not to mention the hat and the wig, which I think that other lady that has alopecia or whatever could consider you as doing a wig, wouldn't hurt her. But I mean, this it's like she takes that whole rig off, you know, the hat, the hair, the thing, and the glasses. They all come off at one damn time, and she looks like bald, like wide-eyed, ugly, shriveled up old hag. Oh my God. So oh shit. Okay, you hear me now? Okay. I had to mute. Mama took a nosedive. Okay. So let me go over this again because it wasn't very hard. I can recreate this. This shit is a clown show. This is a circus, right? Denise says it absolutely right. Okay. This is a joke. Look at these pearls, right? These fake pearls, and the shower scrunchie that she's wearing on her. Well, I don't know what is that, a brooch or what the hell is that? Okay, I mean, you know, my wife buys those shower scrunchies, and they're in the shower hanging off the thing. You know what I'm saying? So, and then these earrings. I mean, it looked like came off a Christmas tree. And then the whole hat and the glass, the windshield that she's wearing. And it looks like she takes that whole damn rig off of her head at night and puts it on the mannequin, right? And can you imagine her just bald ass head with the beady eyes? Like, after she takes off that whatever the hell that is. You know, and the lady who has alopecia, whatever the bald lady is, can't remember her name now off the top of my head. She needs to consider a wig. Just wear a wig. I don't know what virtue signaling or whatever you're running around with a bald damn head. But women with bald heads are creepy. They just are. It's not right. There's something wrong with it. And I could even argue that it is anti-biblical, right? That a woman should have her glory is her long flowing hair. And so I just have a negative reaction to women with short hair. And in particular, black people with like shaved heads, especially when they dye them blonde and culturally appropriate. But see, it's all right for them to culturally appropriate. It's not all right for us. Anyway, I digress so much. Let's just continue to watch this mess.
Questions from the press. But somebody like a Bob Casey in Pennsylvania, he's running against Dave McCormick. He's the
all right.
incumbent Democrat. I think that he's realizing, I guess I'm going to have to focus on my own race, because he says he's one of Biden's best friends. He spent time with Biden campaigning, but when asked about
Mama
things today, he
said
said, I'm
she's
just
sorry.
focused on my
She
own
didn't
race.
feel
So
well.
the last thing I'd point
This
It
is
is, especially with you around. Joe was supposed to speak at 5 p.m. Now it's 5:30. The late Joe Biden.
Oh,
you know,
don't bury him.
he's always late. And it's appropriate since we say it felt like a funeral. Where did anybody bring in casserole dish? Where are the bagpipes? We were told if you didn't vote for Joe Biden, the White House would be occupied by a power-mad tyrant who
this is
refuses
good
to leave
analysis.
office even when everyone knows he's unfit. And a convicted felon would be running the country. Turns out you got all that if you voted for Joe Biden.
That's
You
right.
elected Joe and a crazy, bonkers, mad royal family who treat democracy like Commander treats Secret Service agents. If Joe doesn't drop out this week, he's proving that he's guilty of everything that they falsely accused Trump of, selfishly, insanely clinging to power. No wonder Joe looked orange. What's next? He's going to start a line of Biden steaks. This is starting to feel like Manuel Noriega. You know, pretty soon they're going to start playing Metallica really loud outside the White House.
Get
And
him
they
out.
claim Joe Biden's working the phones. Come on, he couldn't work a jitterbug. That's the little phone with the big buttons. If I were a delegate, one of Joe's delegates, I'd be really pissed because you stole my vote. I gave it to you on false pretenses. Essentially, the voters were sold a lemon that once it got off the lot, it collapsed. And the
Yep.
White House is the car dealer.
Yep.
Too late, you bought it. That was Joe's letter. He just said, sorry, too late, I got your vote.
Yep.
No wonder
That's exactly what he's
it felt
doing.
like a funeral in there. I mean, seriously, it's a funeral without a corpse. And I feel bad for Joe getting endorsed by the squad. That's the only people in his corner. It's like getting endorsed by
It's gonna be a hot one
Hamas.
today.
Judge Janine, your thoughts?
You know, Biden.
All right, now, I think I just a little while longer because I want you to see Judge Janine. Does she? I don't know, Jeff. Does she scare you? I mean, she's scary looking. I just think she is, man. She's like, wow. She's just about ready to kind of implode. I think everything's going to fall any minute now. She used to be, I guess, a pretty lady, but my God, they have like 18 pounds of makeup on that face. So, you know.
Biden is guilty in the court of public opinion. Everybody thinks there's something wrong with him.
Thanks, I appreciate
Nobody
that, Jeff.
thinks he's going to be able to lead for the next 4 years.
It's tough to do this
in order
every
to
day.
have a rebellion, you need to have a leader. And there is no leader. There's just this guy in the White House who yells and screams, and everybody is like, all of a sudden, the difference between last Friday and today is stunning. You had Jerry Nadler, who's now pulling back. You have a lot of Congress people who are like, yeah, maybe he's okay. I'm with Joe. Not that he's great, but I'm with Joe now. It's like they got the message. And, you know, you want to talk about totalitarian. I mean, that's who the Democrats are. This is our guy, and that's the end of it. And even though
Well, she doesn't have a Saturday
in one
show
poll,
anymore.
Kamala was ahead of Joe, they
People got
still
tired
don't
of her.
believe that Kamala is capable of being the person to run against Donald Trump. And as Whoopi Goldberg said yesterday, they don't care how sick Joe Biden is. They don't care if he poops his pants or anything else. They just want him out there. And in the end, what you've got is a dishonesty that is so apparent. And this this alleged transparency of the Democrats, it doesn't exist.
Nope.
Americans know it doesn't exist. And in the end, they're returning Joe. If he gets through this,
Like I said, right, about the White House press briefing, creamy Jean-Pierre, smooth and creamy Jean-Pierre, said that the doctors who are constantly hovering around him see absolutely nothing wrong with him. Okay? When you and I It's back to the whole thing of what is a woman and what senator said, look, I don't need to be a veterinarian to know what the hell a cat is. And you don't need to be a doctor. You just need Google. And you need these eyes. So these doctors must be the most incompetent sons of bitches on the planet. Or they're covering up. I wonder which one it is.
Week, if he gets through the presser today at 5 or whenever, 5:30 now.
She is
and
angry
on
all the
Thursday
time.
after NATO. I mean, he said,
that's an interesting observation because she's always like sounds like she's trying to, like she's constipated. I'm sorry, but it does. She's like always pissed off. You're right.
things in the last couple of days. He said on Joe and Mika said he runs the world, and yet people
But
are
that's
like,
true.
Yeah, he's our guy. Well, that's the Democrats
He runs
for
the
you.
world.
Harold, yesterday you seemed pretty confident that Joe's days were numbered. He might not make it through the weekend. You still...
Now, I have this, I can't stand liberals, period, right? I just can't. And so they got this slot on the 5. And you know, I'll give it to them. It's good that they have, you know, the opposing side that's got balls enough to come on the show and deal with 4 other people that are generally right-leaning, right? But out of all of them, like there's Marie Harf. Don't like her. She's got that librarian look going on. She wears the glasses, and I'm pretty sure she was probably a dancer at some time. And not very smart, not very intelligent. And then, of course, they had Geraldo on, and Geraldo was just an ass clown, too. But I tell you, Harold Ford Jr., this light-skinned black individual, I guess we would call him. Is that the proper vernacular? I don't know. Is, for the last couple of days, given some pretty lucid analysis. So he actually got his tail feathers up in panties all up in a bunch the other day because of the elite comment that Joe Biden made in his angry speech to Morning Joe the other day.
Feel the same way.
I'm not totally persuaded that he will be the nominee. I'll say this. I am. It's interesting. I'm curious. I'd be curious to hear some other things that takeaways from these 2 meetings between the House members and Senate members. I'd be curious to know if anyone asked the question over the last 12 days, has President Biden driven those voters in Wisconsin, where Tammy Baldwin's up for re-election, Michigan,
The normal
Ohio,
people with
where Sherrod
eyes.
Brown is up for re-election, Michigan, where you have
All the
an open Senate race.
non-doctors.
The voters you need in those states, has he driven those voters closer to us or further from us? I don't know the answer to that. I have an opinion on it, but I don't think he's driven them closer to us. 2, the President, Biden, is one big mistake away from not being on the ticket. If we have another moment, whether it comes at some point today or another point before the nomination is given to him officially, it's not good because after he gets a nomination, all we can then do is hope and pray that he doesn't have a moment because movement, changing from a nominee after the convention
It's going to be a bitch.
is obviously very, very difficult. I do hope that the members in that meeting also who expressed concern about how difficult it may be to move on from the nominee before the convention and how messy it could be, understands if you believe what President Biden has campaigned on, the existential threat posed by the opponent on the Republican side,
Right.
how hard will it be then? Maybe we've reconciled ourselves to that. I imagine those in that room have, but I wonder about delegates and voters. I'm one that if this is what everybody wants to do at the end of the day, I'll be there. But I do hope those 2 questions were asked, and I hope those 2 questions were answered sufficiently and convincingly.
Let me tell you something, man. We are at a place where it's interesting. It's fun to watch minute by minute. This just melting down. This just coming apart at the seams of a lie that's been peddled to us for years. So this entire machine is just absolutely coming apart. But what amazes me about all of this is that there are a few out there, but not many besides me and a couple of individuals who are saying this is more than this. If we're talking about is he electable, then the question becomes, if he can't run a campaign, if he can't perform the normal functions, then ergo, ... hitherto, right? He's not going to be able to perform the duties of the presidency. I mean, right? And so that's the whole thing that continues to astound me, right? All right, let's go back and see what I got going on here. Crazy, crazy, crazy. When did I do that? We watched that last night. Yesterday, okay.
To confirm is the name and the reason why.
I just want to get a clarification on the letter that was sent last night.
Sure, absolutely.
From Dr. O'Connor. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it didn't seem to explicitly describe the nature of Dr. Kennard's meeting with Dr. O'Connor. So can you say whether that one meeting was related to care for the president himself?
I can say that it was not.
It was not. Okay, great. And can I just ask why that information that was released last night just wasn't said at the briefing yesterday?
Well, no. Actually, a lot of what is in the letter was said at the briefing.
Wonder how that happened.
I said,
like they scrambled like right after the briefing to make this letter and shove it out there? Maybe, huh?
many of the things that were laid out in the letter was actually repeated right here behind this lectern at this podium yesterday. It was what
said that.
Hold on, I said many of the things, and we got clarification, obviously, from Dr. O'Connor.
Clarification.
But it was in line with what I said when I said. Only 3, right? I said only 3 visits that this particular doctor had. I said a neurologist. What I was not able to confirm is the name, and the reason why is because we do not share private information. That is something that we respect, and we wanted to make sure that we protected our consultants here that work with the White House Medical Unit, their security as well.
We had the name.
That is the one thing that I was not able to confirm.
Now we have
Obviously,
the name.
Dr. O'Connor's letter confirms that, but we had to get permission from Dr. Kennard and also the president in order to put that information. And it is not normal, and that also states that in Dr. O'Connor. But many of the things that I said right here at this podium is in the letter.
And can I just also ask a little, this is the second time in less than a week where the briefing had prompted a need for later clarification.
Somebody said that, and we're going to watch some analysis if we get there. Somebody said this morning, and the word came out of my mouth right before the person said it, right? Terrifying. What's going on right now is terrifying. You know? Let me see.
House over the last year, at least 8 visits, including 3 this year. He's, of course, a specialist when it comes to Parkinson's disease. Yesterday, the White House wouldn't give specifics about why he was visiting the White House grounds.
So on NBC, let me see if I can find it. On NBC, there was a doctor. Oh, my God. The Morning Joe was a total disaster as well. I watched that this morning. Let's watch Greg Kelly. Maybe it's there.
If elected, you would be the oldest president in American history.
But I'm in good shape.
78 years old.
Looks great,
82 after 4 years. Donald Trump says you have dementia, and it's getting worse.
Hey, the same guy who thought that the 9/11 attack was a 7/11 attack, he's talking about dementia? All I can say to the American people is watch me. You see what I've done. You see what I'm going to do. Look at me. Compare our physical and mental acuity. I'm happy to have that comparison.
We've watched you and we've seen enough. Even the Democrats know, lots of them. They want you to go, Joe. You cannot hack this candidacy, this campaign, nor the presidency. We saw it all at the debate. I've been seeing it, quite frankly, years before the debate, and so have our viewers. It is amazing that we're here, though, that they kept this a secret from so many people, not from us, but from tens of millions of Americans who rely on the fake news. I never thought that they could keep a secret like that. I mean, who remembers hearing about FDR? Arguably a great president.
This is some interesting history right here.
He had polio, but the people back then did not know that. There are only like 3 or 4 pictures of him in a wheelchair. The people did not know. They kept it a secret. JFK, John F. Kennedy, man, that guy, talk about a womanizer. I mean, he was having
followed his penis around
in a
everywhere.
White House swimming pool. Here he is arranging a tryst with Marilyn Monroe. Now, the reporters knew that, but they would not tell the American people. So I thought, well, that's yesteryear. That could never happen again. It happened again. Joe Biden in obvious decline for years, and they would not tell the American people. The real Biden is with his mouth hanging open, totally, just
like
lost.
That. Just
lost.
like that.
Fortunately, some people are coming forward, some very skilled people with honesty, candor, and expertise, and laying out the obvious. Now, you don't have to be a doctor to know this, but this guy happens to be a doctor. He happens to specialize in Parkinson's disease, and his name is Dr. Tom Pitts, and I think he's pretty awesome. Check this out.
Have you noticed anything
NBC News,
that gives
guys.
you a red flag as a doctor?
Oh, yeah, I see him 20 times a day in clinic. I mean, it's ironic because he has just such classic features of neurodegeneration. I mean, word finding difficulties, and that's not, I couldn't find the word. That's from degeneration of the word retrieval area.
He's also overcome stuttering, though. Could that be part of that, too?
No, this is not a palatal issue or a speech discrepancy, which is very different from a lemmonode dysfunction, actual word retrieval, where you pick a similar question or talk around the issue, plus the rigidity.
This guy sounds pretty educated in this topic, don't you think? He knows the big words, dude. He's got more, right? But again, this is what all of us could see. We know we might not be able to get on a stand and testify that use the words, the areas of the brain and this and the other thing. But this, we can see it. We can see the degeneration.
Tone, voice.
Wait, go back to that. The
I like
rigidity.
Newsmax.
Rigidity, loss of arm swing, standing up lordotically. You notice when he turns, it's kind of end block turning. It's not a quick turn. So that's one of the hallmarks of Parkinson's is rigidity and bradykinesia, slow movement.
Wow, that's pretty thorough.
Yes.
And he knows, and he's known for a long time. Keep going, doctor.
And he has that hallmark, especially with the low voice that said was a cold, hypophonia.
Hypophonia.
A small monotone voice like this over time is a hallmark of Parkinsonism. I could have diagnosed him from across the mall.
Here are some of the symptoms.
Across the mall. Yeah. They've been hiding behind this thing for a long time. Well, doctors can't because they can't comment because they can't examine him. Sometimes it's just.
But yet the doctors around him, the brilliant top medical scientific minds of this world that are with him on a daily basis. He checks in with them. They don't see anything. They don't see anything. They don't see any reason to test the president. Nah. No.
You can see it from outer space or across the mall. I so appreciate this guy who happens to be a Democrat. We'll get to that in a second.
Once you start manifesting the hallmark motor symptoms,
right?
Slow movement, rigidity, mass facies, hypophonia. I mean, if a med student did not pick Parkinson's on the test, they'd be remediated.
So that basically what he's saying is the doctors that surround Biden, okay, are either lying or they shouldn't even have a medical license. Right? Yeah, wow. Yeah, he's fried.
They'd have to go back to, I don't know, they'd be left back in medical school. They'd have to repeat something. Keep going, doctor.
What I cannot comment on is his ability to make good decisions. His motor symptoms are degenerating. He has Parkinsonism. That is a fact. He has degeneration of the brain. Show me the MRI. Show me he doesn't. Put your money where your mouth is. He definitely has it. But the problem is when you look at his situation, you can't say, oh, I know for a fact that because he didn't retrieve the word, he didn't know what he wanted to say. And that's why both him and Trump should take the 4-hour neuropsychological testing, which is the hallmark test for cognitive performance.
I don't even have to think Trump would have a problem.
I know that Donald Trump would be up for that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Joe Biden,
Not
Never
so
in a
much.
million years. It's one of the reasons why I do think he's going to have to leave. He has made it categorical. He's not taking that test. Now, the part about him being a Democrat and his observations about what's happening more broadly.
You sound like you're frustrated with what the White House is saying.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because, I'm an American before everything.
Yes.
And I look at it and say, when I used to see Russia, Soviet Union, North Korea, when they just make outrageous things.
See, and this kind of gives me hope that there are some Democrats, right, that are just like salvageable. And this guy seems to be one of them.
Like when North Korea can't keep the lights on and they say, oh, it was some faulty power thing. I kind of hate that kind of stuff. They had 4 years. My own party had 4 years to find, this was a wreck in slow motion. And they had 4 years to find out of 350 Americans, one person
One guy
that could take the place. And here we are the day before school trying to do the homework and replace a guy who's got a neurodegenerative disease.
Yeah, because you stupid bastards, your platform sucks. Nobody wants your shit. You keep saying it's the most, like in progressive speak, sure, you were highly successful at what you achieved. Destroyed the fucking country, but boy, we have progressed. I mean, just like hope and change, right? We got it. Fundamentally transform America. That's what they've always wanted to do.
And that's where Democrats are right now. And shame on them, right? Oh, by the way, a rare bright light in the fake news. Tom Yamas interviewing this guy. You mentioned North Korea, Russia. Yep, this is right out of their playbook. Let's go to the New York Times back in 1975. In the Soviet Union, the public is told only what the Communist Party has decided it needs to know. No explanations are felt to be necessary. That's been the theme of the Biden administration right up until
just like the commies.
The debate and the aftermath, right? Now, it's kind of sad, but it's also kind of amusing. I mean, keeping this from the American people for as long as they did. And when Donald Trump dare raise the issue back in 2020, an issue that we could all see, what did they say he was up to, huh? He's saying things without evidence. And he is, oh yes, repeating Russian talking points,
disinformation.
Russian propaganda. The U.S. government actually accused President Trump of being a Russian intelligence proxy. Check this out.
It was meant to be a warning, an intelligence bulletin from the Department of Homeland Security alerting local, state, and federal law enforcement to a Russian scheme to damage Joe Biden's presidential campaign. The draft bulletin, titled "Russia Likely to Denigrate Health of U.S. Candidates to Influence 2020 Election," said intelligence analysts had determined with high confidence that Russia is trying to convince voters that Joe Biden isn't mentally fit to be president. As evidence, the bulletin cites stories by Russian-controlled news outlets from September 2019 until May of this year, claiming without evidence that Joe Biden's, quote, verbal miscues are symptoms of dementia.
No
the Trump
evidence.
campaign's message on Biden's fitness has been similar to the one the bulletin attributes to the Russians, including this ad released in June.
Joe Biden is slipping.
Rapidly rising in with...
That's amazing. Anything that Democrats don't like, it's the Russians. You are pushing Russia disinformation. Wow. All right. Look, you don't have to be an intelligence specialist or a doctor to know that Joe Biden has problems.
Yep.
You don't have to be.
Look at him.
And
Looks
the
like a
symptoms,
robot.
by the way, does this sound familiar, right? There are a whole bunch of them, but I want to focus on the third on the left. Anger,
Yep.
and aggression.
Yep. Check
That's
this out.
Joe Biden.
This is a good
Anger
montage.
and aggression, sure enough. Take a look.
America bows to no one. No one said that. He said that. How dare he say that? The weapon's only meant for one thing, to kill people.
No, I wasn't, and I don't know. Were you? No.
Read the polls, Jack. You guys are all the same. Talk about being deprived of your pride. That is your judgment. That is your judgment. That is not the judgment of the press.
Give me a break.
Give me a break.
Watch.
Watch me.
Wow. He wasn't like that earlier in his career. He
No.
was nasty in other ways, but he didn't yell and scream like that. Seems to be a symptom of a
Can you imagine him
Parkinson's
behind closed
degeneration.
doors?
Totally makes sense.
Holy
it's
shit.
amazing to see
Yes, he is a
the White
stiff
House,
coon.
the deep state
He is.
pushing back like gaslighting us. I hate the word gaslighting, but they're gaslighting. They're pretending everything is
What it
normal.
is.
Everything is not normal. And saying that we can't make these observations even in 2020, or else we're some sort of a Russian spy. It reminds me of a classic movie, The Caine Mutiny.
All right, I don't want
Humphrey
to watch about
Bogart
that.
and the rest, right? That was an awesome film. Humphrey Bogart was the captain of a ship, and he lost his mind.
I'm gonna go
and
see
the
this
crew,
movie.
Well, to save the ship, they mutinied. They took over, and well, they were accused of a crime. Mutiny is technically a crime in the Navy, and so they cross-examined the main mutineer. The
Yeah,
guy
it is
who-
a cult of
who saved the
personality,
ship.
but they say that's what
And,
only
well,
what
just
Trump
watch
is.
this. I think it reminds me of how so many of us are treated today when we raise questions.
Your witness, sir.
Mr. Merrick, just a few questions. Would you say your grades in high school were average?
Yeah.
Lower than average.
And in college?
Lower than average.
What training have you had in psychiatry or medicine?
Nothing.
None.
Where did you get the idea that Captain Queeg was mentally ill?
Because he seemed
Out
crazy.
of books.
What books? Name the titles.
Oh, I
Went
can't
to
remember
Google.
them.
Mr. Merrick, define schizophrenia.
I can't.
What is a manic depressive?
I don't know.
I don't know.
What's the difference between the words paranoid and paranoia?
I don't know.
In truth, then, Mr. Merrick, you don't know what you're talking about when you discuss mental illness.
But
Well, I didn't say I knew much about it.
I just wanted
Yet
to
you thought
save
you
the
knew
ship,
enough
man.
to commit an act that was outright mutiny.
I wanted to save the ship.
Not to give it away, but I think I can. The movie is 70 years old. Save the ship. And well, I wouldn't tell you the rest. It's a fantastic movie, but that's how so many of us are treated. That snob, that prosecutor, is a famous actor. His name escapes me right now. He treats us like the fake news and, I don't know, the establishment, the culture. You don't have the qualifications to raise this issue. Sit down and shut up.
Yep. Sit down and shut up. We don't know what we're talking about. It's pathetic. But you know, they can't keep it up. Yeah, and right, money is going to have a lot to do with it when the money dries up, right? Oh, okay. Chris Salcedo was interesting. Education secretary lady. Something happened. Apparently, George Snuffleupagus said something about Biden after the interview, and he was like a no-no, and he's retracted it or something. But is this it? Morning Joe. Let's watch Morning Joe for a minute. What am I looking at? Oh, I hate Maggie Haberman. Cat lady. All right.
To endure equal treatment under a Trump president.
I just want you to see this. This is the lady who's the president, secretary, or whatever, the National Education Association or something. But check this out.
We can do this work. We must do this work. We get to do this work. We will do this work because our students are depending on us to win all the things. NEA, we have to win all the things. All the things. All the things. Our colleagues
All
are
the things,
depending
guys.
on us to win all the things. Keep going, NEA. To preserve our democracy, we must win all the things. Delegates, we won't go back. We will keep going forward because we are the NEA. We are the NEA. We are the NEA. And that's what we do.
What the fuck was that? Okay. I just wanted to bring you that for just one damn second. What did you think of that? That lady is that lady is got something to do in a very large way with education of our children in this country. They got to win things. They need to win the things. Okay, I mean, what the shit? Well, seriously, man.
I think two things can be.
All right, let's watch Morning Joe for a minute.
In the history of the world.
I didn't even know what the hell NATO.
All right, now this is interesting, and then this is very interesting. This is Morning Joe, right? 6 a.m. this morning. And I want you to see already what's going on with them trying to figure out how to massage everything that is a shit sandwich for a platform, knowing they don't have a candidate, but yet they still have to keep pumping the fact that Donald Trump is bad. And so Donald Trump just did a rally. And of course, we know that the left does not understand humor. The Donald Trump is the best troll on the planet. And so then they take these clips and they're trying to cast doubt upon the lucidity of Donald Trump. And so they take words and statements and then juxtapose them against the strong Joe Biden. So watch this, because this is really, when I saw this morning, I was really amazed by it.
In 1949, the leaders of 12 countries, including President Truman, came together in this very room and created the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, the single greatest, most effective defensive alliance in the history of the world.
I didn't even know what the hell NATO was too much before, but it didn't take me long to figure it out, like about 2 minutes.
Right. But yet, because it's not very complicated, right? And he's like, okay, we're all doing this and shit. Start paying your bills. That's what Donald Trump said. And everybody lost their freaking minds because they had to start paying up, right? And that's what Joe Biden is supposedly now taking credit for. But look how official he looks when he made this opening speech at NATO. Look how official, look how smart he is about NATO. This guy, foreign policy, my God. Joe Biden is a wizard. He is a foreign policy genius. Okay? Look at the state of the world from when he got, elected to where we're at now. Just look at it.
American people understand what would happen if there was no NATO. Another war in Europe. American troops fighting and dying.
Everybody has a...
They do this whole thing last night. We did this peace on earth, that there'll be peace on earth. From NATO, there'll be peace on earth. How's that working out for you right now? You're poking a Russian bear over there, right? Expanding NATO, and then you're all surprised when he's like, no, fuck you. People don't know the history over there, right? And they're singing the ridiculous opening song, Let There Be Peace on Earth. NATO's making peace on Earth? Are you shitting me right now? And Donald Trump is a bumbling idiot. This is what we're supposed to swallow right now. This is what you're feeding me this morning, Morning Joe. This is what you're trying to tell me? Wow.
Another war in Europe. American troops fighting and dying.
Everybody has a quarter water spot. Where water comes out, they don't have anything for me.
It wasn't inevitable. Again and again at critical moments, we chose unity over disunion.
Sir, Chris Christie is not a fat pig. Please remember that. He is not a fat pig.
Progress over retreat.
I said, no, I will not protect you from Russia.
Freedom over tyranny.
When people who love our country
no, I will not protect you from Russia. Did you notice that? No, I will not protect you from Russia. What's the fucking context to that statement, people? What was the context of that statement? Right? You said if you don't fucking pay your bills, probably is what they said. Right? Man, in many ways, okay, I'm telling you, I don't like a lot of what Putin's done, and he has people killed and all that kind of shit. Okay, but they're like, you can't you can't fly the gay flag. You can't, they've shut down so many things that the conservatives over here would be all excited about in this country if we could get done. Right? So it's tough. Putin is a very confusing figure.
6th in Washington, they become hostages. Hope over fear. Let's look at the Jefferson Memorial. Let's look at the Washington Monument. Let's go and look at some of the beautiful scenes, and you end up getting shot, mugged, raped.
Make no mistake, Ukraine can and will stop Putin.
I had a very good relationship with Putin. We talked about it. It was the apple of his eye.
This is a pivotal moment for Europe, for the transatlantic community, and I might add for the world.
Did you ever hear of Hannibal Lecter? They always say, oh, that's terrible, that Trump would say. He is rambling about Hannibal Lecter. No, I'm not rambling. Yes, oh yes, and quickly, says President Trump. Yes, oh yes.
That was Donald Trump yesterday.
What? Okay, and then she's gonna, with a straight fucking face, get on and go, yes, you see it. Yeah, you saw that correctly. That's the insane Donald Trump. The one that's going to throw us all in jail. You saw it correctly. That's right. He's a fucking maniac. Yeah, that was such a great job editing, guys. Wow, that was great. Thank you.
Yesterday, Willie.
Oh my God.
At his first, Wow.
Wow.
At his first campaign rally in nearly 2 weeks, compared to
And
President...
look at this chuckle clown head, blockhead over here. Oh, his mouth agape. These people, like, together, all three of them don't have the intelligence of Donald Trump put together. These guys are total clowns.
Biden speaking to world leaders at the NATO summit. It is a contrast. The Biden campaign wants to continue to push in hopes of putting the focus back on his opponent rather than his own mental acuity. Meanwhile, on Capitol Hill, there are still serious concerns within the Democratic caucus about the president's reelection chances. And now we're hearing publicly from a Democratic senator who says Biden's campaign could lead to Republicans winning both chambers of Congress. We'll talk about all of this. Good morning and welcome to Morning Joe.
It is an oligarchy.
Wednesday,
You're
July
absolutely
10th.
right.
Willie's back. Joe's off along with Willie and me. We have the host
That's
of
a very
Way Too
astute
Early, White House
observation.
Bureau Chief at Politico, Jonathan Lemire, MSNBC contributor Mike Barnicle, and former
Barnicle.
Treasury official
He looks
and
like a
Morning
barnacle,
Joe
doesn't he?
economic analyst Steve Ratner.
What's
Willie,
wow.
That was an incredible parallel yesterday, side by side. Trump, very smooth.
It's like side by side. Do you really believe that the way that package was put together was fair? Like comparing, a serious moment when Donald Trump is discussing NATO in an interview, and then you're going to paste that in next to, him, Joe Biden giving a serious speech just last night, showing how stately he is, right? No, it's not. It's a rally. Now, if you would have posted Joe Biden at a rally versus Donald Trump at a rally, that would have been more fair. But no. You put Joe Biden doing his official duties in a barely passable way. Thank God they were all sweating it. I know they were sweating it last night. They had to get the cocktail right to make that shit work. And then they juxtapose it with rally comments. And I mean severely cut out of context. That's what they're serving you this morning. Right? And then they're going to tell you that Donald Trump is just a slick Willie. He's doesn't care about anybody but himself, But we do have these problems with the president currently that is not in control of his mints.
Smooth, talking about Chris Christie being a fat pig, never really knowing what NATO was.
He is a fat pig. Okay? He is a fat pig, objectively speaking. Chris Christie, Mr. Anti-Trump extraordinaire, the king of the anti-Trumpers, he's a fat piece of shit. Right? He is. Oh, but you can't say that. He is. He's a dirtbag, right? And what else did she say?
Smooth, talking about Chris Christie being a fat pig, never really knowing what NATO was.
Oh, God. He had an understanding of NATO just like most people have an understanding of NATO before he became president, okay? I mean, and what he was talking about was not really understanding the purpose of NATO. And then he got in there and figured it all out, okay? But apparently a president is not allowed to have a learning curve, I guess. You have to be in Washington your whole damn life for 50, 60 years, be swimming around in that swamp. Then you can be president. Then you can not even have a brain and still be president, right?
J6 hostages, the people who defecated on our Capitol, are now, in his mind, hostages. He was smooth saying that as well. And he did not mangle his words at all when he talked about his close relationship with Putin. It was good that we could clearly understand that.
Yeah, J6 hostages, those are also people who beat up police officers and went to jail for it, were convicted by juries of their peers.
Did you hear that sigh? I know. It's just so disgusting. Thank God they didn't bring up the lie that the deadly insurrection that killed police officers, right? That we hear all the time. Oh my God. Yeah, Gray Wolf, you're right. It says Chris Christie would fetch a good price per pound of pork at the Hoof New Jersey livestock auction. You got that right, man. I'll never forget when he was campaigning for president, and they had a picture of him on an airplane. He was asleep, and he looked like a damned beached whale. I mean, look, the epitome of that state. Oh, man.
In our legal system. That is, by the way, the moment the Biden campaign has been waiting for, which is to say Donald Trump effectively has been in hiding strategically for the last almost 2 weeks now since the debate, and let this play out with Joe Biden and the Democrats and what to do about his future in this campaign. Now he's back out there, and the Biden campaign says, remember that guy? Here's the contrast they've been looking for. All of this.
Yeah, and you're helping him, right? Because that total comparison and contrast was like what you saw at the beginning opening package. That was totally honest. That was totally an accurate representation comparing the two men running for president of the United States. What we showed you was real. We have one man that is absolutely crazy. And yet, despite what you saw last week in that fucking disaster, and every time they forcefully have shoved him out since then in a very aggressive way, right? Look at the commanding presence of this president of the United States. They're still serving this shit up, right? Wow.
While
Thank you,
congressional
Denise.
Democrats now are largely falling in line behind Biden, despite reported panic behind the scenes. According to the New York Times, top Democrats have settled on a strategy that some concede could be dangerous: do nothing, at least for now. The Times notes the consensus among many Democrats is that Biden himself is the problem, and their unwillingness to say so is reminiscent of the way congressional Republicans behaved during the Trump administration, when they would criticize and mock him privately, but profess total fealty in public. Longtime party loyalists say they've been reduced to hoping for another major public misstep by President Biden to either persuade reticent members of Congress to speak out or to convince the president he should leave the race on his own. Democratic senators met yesterday for their first caucus luncheon since returning to the Hill.
See, now that we've run out of Trump shaming and look at the monkey, we've got to go back and deal with, the whole Joe Biden issue again. Damn.
Where they discussed the viability of the president's campaign. Speaking to reporters after that meeting, Democrats remained tight-lipped about what was said inside the room and by whom.
Well, the concerns are whether or not that was a one-off situation, or there is more to the issue.
How confident are you that President Biden will be the Democratic nominee in November?
I'm confident at this point, but I will tell you, it remains to be seen in the way he campaigns and the effectiveness of the campaign.
You're confident at this point. No, you're not confident at this point. See, man, I really appreciate what's going on in the chat right now, because I think that I am part of an army of people. I'm not the only one out there. I'm not the only truth slinger out there. I'm the one that branded it, right? And I'm trying to, this stuff, okay, this political crap is so complex, and it is so fascinating to break it down. I mean, I just love to do this. I just love to consume this. I mean, the first thing I did, man, I flopped out of bed this morning, man. I started making some coffee, and I started consuming media. And it's like, wow, man, everything I watch is just like immediately like, well, that's streamable because, I can comment on it because it's fascinating, and I can break down what's going on. The doublespeak, the lies, the cloak and dagger that's going on here. It's just so many layers, man. It's like an ogre, It's you peel it back, and then there's another one. And I have never seen a spectacle in my life, right? Well, Kuhn, the whole CIA thing, okay? The CIA has been fucking mucking about in our own elections. They've been doing ops outside, and of course, they're only supposed to topple outside governments. How'd that work out for us, right? I don't trust the three-letter agencies as far as you can throw them. We're constantly being subjected to psyops, constantly. And that's why I'm so glad people are tuning in, and so glad because I think I do a pretty good job trying to direct people to always not look at the monkey, because there's a billion ways they're telling you to look at the monkey. And I hope that Denise, I know, man. Trump challenged Joe Biden to a golf match. Would you love to see that? Now, of course, that's never going to happen. No way. In 1,000 years. Joe Biden can't turn like fluently from one side to another. He's never going to be able to swing a club, and he has no way as a 6 handicap. But this again, I'm just glad that you guys are tuning in and watching and consuming your news here, because we are all over it. We're scanning it. I mean, I've done 260 some odd episodes of the Truth Slinger Project, and this really didn't take off until we really, this last time around, started to do live streaming again. But I knew that we needed to be in a position to take advantage of when the shit hits the fan, whatever that's going to be. Whatever. Now, personally, I expected to be covering riots and that kind of crap right about this time. But I never, expected to be covering the literal, I think, potentially death of the Democratic Party. Now, they've forever soiled the name Democratic. They've shit all over it. And if you look back through time, it's not always been the Democrats and the Republicans. There were other parties. There were the Whigs and the Jeffersonians or Jacksonians or what. There were multiple different other versions of a party. Look it up on Wikipedia and just scroll through it. And you'll see that parties come and go, man. The Soviet Union was supposed to be around, forever. And then it wasn't. It just stopped. Okay? And much like that, the same thing with our country, which is why, right, I constantly am doing this. Because we are in a place right now in uncharted waters. It's dangerous, and the waters have been chummed. We don't have a president. And again, it's that thing where it's like at one point I get up and I'm excited because I'm like, these people, their platform is burning. It's burning. They have nothing but to point back to history of a record that they say is great, and it's only great because they say it's great. And the news media has told you that's great. And it hasn't been great because we all know it's not great. So it's delicious to watch the Democrat Party implode and maybe come to potentially an end because people need to disassociate themselves. That's how badly they've damaged their brand, right? So, but yeah, wow, it's just nuts, and so it's like watching oh, I don't know, some robot in a movie just start to malfunction because you poured a cup of water on it.
Whether he continues to be the flag bearer for our cause.
Senator, do you still support President Biden?
Yes, I think it's really important that we focus on the fact that President Biden has been a really excellent president. He had
Look at the record, right? He's been an excellent president. Look at all the shit that got signed and done. By who? By a cabal of people? We all know he's non-compass Mentos. Right? Not in control of his mints.
Debate. Former President Trump had a horrific presidency.
You don't have any concerns about his ability to serve 4 more years?
No. No. 4 more years. Not survive to the nomination or the confirmation at the convention, which, oh my God, we're going to be live streaming that shit like it's nobody's business, man. Are you kidding me? Holy crap. I've got to get off the air, and I got to try and get some shit done today outside of this, which consumes my life all the time, right? Because the conventions are going to be nuts, especially the Democratic National Convention. There's going to be rioting. There's going to be protesting. It's going to be a circus like no other. I can't wait to watch that shit. And who knows what's going to happen, between now and then. And, Jeff, you made this comment about oligarchs. At the same time, we sanction them if they're Russian. The Russian, we always talk about the Russian oligarchs. They're bad. Take their yachts away. And it's like there is an elite political class, right? And the funny part is when Joe in his defiant shit saying to Morning Joe that he's pissed off that the elites, because all the regular peeps just love him to death, right? I mean, just look at the big crowds he draws at all of his rallies. And so he said this comment about the elites, but he said the quiet part out loud. Because now the liberal mainstream media is running around going, what? Elites? No, there's no such thing as elites. No. Pay no attention to the oligarch behind the curtain, right? Yeah, it's just crazy. And it is class warfare. And I've been saying this for quite some time, and that's an astute observation as well, is that at this point, it's less about the left versus the right. It is the elite class manipulating, gaslighting, psyoping, controlling the chattel that are out there paying all their fucking bills for them, for their congressional slush funds to keep the sex crap quiet, to finance all their pet projects, in their districts, to shovel away. I mean, and then the whole time smoking cigars and drinking scotch and laughing their asses off behind closed doors about, I wonder how the po folks is doing. This is what it is. This is what it is. They don't want you to have the fucking meat because the cows fart and they're fucking up the planet. Okay? They don't want, but they're going to have the best Wagyu beef massaged by little Japanese girls that they molest after they eat the steaks. Right? And they're going to have their beluga caviar and their cigars from fucking Cuba that are illegal, that, all of it. Right? And, yeah, Gray Wolf, they got married. They started, they had apparently an affair. So, of course, their marriage started in sin and the pit of adultery. And they were doing it on the down low for a while, and now they're just, hi, honey, good morning. Okay, so I don't know what the fuck I was talking about. Oh, that yeah, it is. It's about elitism. It's about they're not going to give up their fucking jets because of climate change. They're not going to fucking give up anything. They just want you to give it all up. Do you understand?
I think if President Biden
He is gay.
feels, and he's in the best position to know, that
He's probably doing that on the down low too, Gray Wolf.
he can take on and beat Donald Trump, then yes, I certainly do, and that's what the president has indicated.
Now, see, you know, if he can beat Donald Trump, then all right, that's all it's about right now. What are the polls fucking saying? Right.
Standing behind the president, but not with exactly ringing endorsements. Meanwhile, one Democratic senator did step out publicly to talk about his doubts about President Biden's chances to beat Donald Trump in November. A source familiar with yesterday's closed-door meeting told NBC News Senators Michael Bennet, John Tester, and Sherrod Brown all voiced concerns about the president winning the election. Senator Tester later did not deny the report, but referred NBC News to a statement in which he says the president's debate performance raises serious questions. The spokesperson for Senator Brown declined to comment, but it was Senator Bennet who confirmed his remarks going on TV last night on CNN, but stopping short of saying the president should drop out of the race.
Well, it's true that I said that, and I did say that behind closed doors, and you guys and others asked whether I had said it, and that is what I said. So I figured I should come here and say it publicly.
Why do you think he can't win in November?
I just think this race is on a trajectory that is very worrisome if you care about the future of this country.
Worrisome.
Joe Biden was 9 points up at this time. The last time he was running, Hillary Clinton was 5 points up.
Yep.
This is the first time.
This
in
is
more
the
than 20
Hindenburg,
years
man.
The Republican president has been up in this part of the campaign. Donald Trump is on track, I think, to win this election.
Yes, he is.
And maybe win it by a landslide and take with him the Senate and the House. And so for me, this isn't a question about polling. It's not a question about politics. It's a moral question about the future of our country. And I think it's critically important for us to come to grips with what we face if together we put this country on the path of electing Donald Trump again.
Join us now, NBC
Right,
News
because
Capitol Hill correspondent
if
Ali
Donald
Vitale.
Trump were
Ali, good morning.
elected, democracy will cease to exist. We will impregnate women anytime we want to, and they won't be able to get you can rape women, and they won't be able to get abortions. There'll never be another election. He's going to throw everybody he hates in jail. It's going to be the end of the fucking world. Literally. You know that, right? Hey, Denise, you have a great day. Thank you so much for being here and tuning in. Love you all. Love you very much. We both do.
It's good to see you. Senator Bennet wanted to say he believes Joe Biden is one of the best presidents in modern American history. He lavished him with praise, but said this moment is too important. His personal belief, again, that's his own personal belief, is that Joe Biden can't win the election. Is that reflective of what you're hearing privately when you talk to Democratic members?
Right, give us the scoop.
Good morning, my friend. I mean, kind of. I think what Senator Bennet is doing that so many others are not is coming out and putting his name publicly on the things that he is saying privately, both to his...
This is the definition, very definition. I mean, I used to use the term, but it never as much as I have in these days. This is what you're experiencing, what we're seeing here is these people experiencing cognitive dissonance. And what that means is that they have had in their mind a certain set thing, the way they believe, false as it is. Right? They've convinced themselves that Donald Trump is this existential threat and that everything will be fine because you can just being president just really isn't that hard and it isn't complicated. And you just have to get the guy out to the podium and say a few words and then you can run the whole damn show behind the scenes. It's exactly what's been going on. And so, you know, every time you ever see him, it's highly staged. And so now they've gone through this whole thing and they've set it up. And I literally believe that they have convinced themselves. And not to mention what the dangerous part about it, the terribly, awfully, dangerously, horribly dangerous part about it, is that if you convince yourself that the other side literally is Adolf Hitler rising to power, because you've amplified that message and you over and over and over and over and over and over again in an echo chamber, then what happens is it becomes morally justifiable, okay, to lie, cheat, or steal to accomplish your goal, because what your goal is what's best for the greatest amount of people, the greater good, right? It's kind of like the thought experiment about saying, if you could go back, to Hitler in 1939 or earlier and kill Hitler as a kid, if you knew what you knew today, would you? Right? And so what they're doing is they're playing this thought experiment, right now in front of your eyes. That's what they've been doing. And so they've justified all the shit they do. This is how they sleep at night. And what I've just explained to you is a philosophy called utilitarianism. And utilitarianism is extremely dangerous. Utilitarianism is what this whole Green New Deal shit is all about. We're sacrificing right now people and quality of lives and things and all that kind of stuff because supposedly sometime off in the distant future, 100 years from now, for the fucking children that we're not having, okay, are going to be okay because the temperature didn't go up by a couple of tenths of a degree. So when you again, and we're seeing this repeating of the lie over and over again until it becomes reality. And then what happened is the earth split in two at the debate. It just shattered. The illusion shattered and everything. And what now we're seeing is people wrestling with cognitive dissonance to try to come to grips with that which they just absolutely could not believe before because it didn't fit in with the worldview that they have to have in order to accomplish what they want to accomplish. You know, all the things they got to get done, the things. They got things to do. They got to do all these things. So, yeah, we're watching people's minds split. The apocalypse of consciousness. That's a pretty good one. I might use that. I'll give you credit, of course, though, Jeff.
Colleagues, to his friends, and potentially to reporters. I think that's also why this story has such a dissonance between the public and the private.
Dissonance.
I know that there are some, and I've heard these complaints that the media, that reporters are making too much of this. And it's largely because there is still a large number of Democrats behind the scenes who are griping, who are panicked, who are saying it to their colleagues, and who are actively weighing whether or not now is the time to come forward and say publicly either that they have concerns, as Senator Bennett was saying, or that they want Joe Biden to step down. Right now, the public numbers on that are only at 9 on the House side. There are no Senate Democrats who are saying Joe Biden can no longer be the nominee and he needs to step down. Bennett.
Now, this is
Senator
great,
Patty
too.
Murray
They're just
the only
downplaying these numbers like it's only 9. Only 9 what? Calling for the president to step down and bow out of the race because he's non-compos mentis. Okay? That's 9 people. 9 people calling someone to pull out of a race because they're not there anymore, because their brain is scrambled eggs. Right? So that's not not significant, man. And you don't think this is going to grow? These are people are bitching behind closed doors. And when you hear these people answer the way they're answering, okay, are you confident? Yes. We'll see what he's going to continue to do. That's not confidence. That's not exuding confidence. And then there's the people that just shout, riding with Biden. A shit show.
Who have gone so far as to say that they have questions, in Bennett's case, to outright question the electability of the president. But that's what the rest of this week, I think, is going to be shaped by, is whether or not the people who have private concerns are willing at this point to make them public. I mean, you bring up the other two senators who are in that room yesterday saying that they have concerns about Biden's ability to win. Both of those same senators are in key Senate seats that are needed. They are essential for Democrats to have any shot of maintaining what they have in the Senate, let alone even think about growing it. If those two people start stepping
you know
forward,
what's delightful?
then I think you have a...
What's delightful is that we have watched at least out of this program, out of this 9 minutes and 52 seconds, I think they spent about 2.5, 3 minutes on Donald Trump. But I haven't heard the word Trump come out of their mouths in probably the last 6 or 7 minutes. Isn't that cool? That's very strange, isn't it? Isn't this MSNBC? Shouldn't we be talking about Donald Trump right now? Oh, no, that's because there's so much going on the Democrat side. It's delicious. Delicious. Have them with fava beans.
Really different dynamic here, but the Senate is also a different beast than the House. I think on the Senate side, many of us are looking to the ways that senators will handle this moment, in large part because Joe Biden was a member of their ranks for so many years as a senator.
It's not going to be easy to kick him to the curb, man.
It's a body that he respects. And those are the colleagues,
Legally
I think, in my
speaking,
conversations who could have more of an impact on the president if they were to try to make a final push to try to get him to renounce himself
the donors
as the
are just
standard bearer of this
freaking
party.
out.
But I think, by and large, yesterday, what could have been an inflection point sort of just ended with
The
a
not
collective
people who
sigh
aren't
and this sense
elites
of
for real
resignation that
are freaking
it's
out.
sort of getting close to
The
the time to
non-elites.
turn the page on this, and you've got to come together, unite, and support the nominee.
Yeah, Jonathan Lemire, the front page above the fold, the New York Times, that piece we just referred to, top Democrats swallow fears and back Biden. So for the most part, the Biden campaign in the White House has done its job of keeping Democrats on board over the last almost 2 weeks now.
Have
Since
they?
The debate, some vigorous support, some less vigorous from Democrats. You had Chuck Schumer on the Hill yesterday answering every question about this with "I'm with Joe, I'm with Joe." They are publicly standing by Joe Biden, but it does feel tenuous.
You're
They're
going with
hoping
that?
That there is not another moment in public from President
Oh,
Biden that
my
may
God.
change the way they have to deal with this.
I just love
there's
it.
no question the dynamic here in Washington, as Ali just mentioned, is very different what we're hearing in public versus private. There's a lot of private anxiety about President Biden. And there was a real sense that the White House and the reelection campaign last week wasn't doing nearly enough to try to tamp that down. And even finally, when he sat down for that interview with George Stephanopoulos on Friday, that didn't ease too many nerves. This week, though, has been different. The president and his team have been far more aggressive. He's had public appearance after public appearance. He's had a lot of private calls, including the Democratic mayors last night, where he has made it very clear he's not going anywhere. Obviously, a message he delivered on this show earlier in the week as well. And I think there is a sense that's the strategy from the Biden inner circle, is to say, look, if you want him out, put up or shut up. If you really want him out, put your name to it and let's do this. And so far, very few Democrats have. And I think it's a sense of there is a reluctance to challenge someone who has been a good president in their eyes, who has been a faithful party member for so long. Also, real concerns about what the alternative would be if it's not.
No,
President
they're
Biden,
not. They're
although we
not
are
really
seeing Vice
addressing
President's
it.
poll
Not
numbers,
this morning.
Pick up of late. And there is a sense, from my reporting, speaking to top Biden officials, that if they can get through this week, the odds of President Biden remaining the nominee go up dramatically. There are a few inflection points, though, that still could.
I hope he makes it through the
One
week,
is,
then.
you mentioned, Senate Majority Leader.
I want him to
Schumer.
be the
People who
nominee.
if he were to change his mind, if a number of senators were to come to him and say, look, we're going to lose this House, this chamber, if Biden stays atop the ticket, and he makes that pitch to the president, maybe he'd listen. So far, though, Schumer shows no sign of doing that, though she hasn't called for President Biden to step aside, Mika. And there is this week here. We're going to talk more about NATO later, but a chance for President Biden to show, not just Democrats, but those eyes watching from around the world, that he's still up to this job. And that news conference tomorrow, which will be, since the debate, his first big moment, unscripted moment.
Big
where he
boy,
has a chance
the
to
big
show
boy
Americans
press
he can still
conference.
do the job. If that goes well and lawmakers come and go from Washington this week without a rebellion, the Biden team thinks he'll get through it.
It's interesting. You talk about, what the alternative may or may not be. And that is an area where I think Democrats are self-destructing. I'll get to that in just a moment. But here's one Democrat who believes that Joe Biden should step aside. This is Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill of New Jersey.
It looked like it was hard for her to say that.
I spent the week hearing from my constituents about their strong concerns about prosecuting the case against Donald Trump. I heard from people concerned about the Supreme Court decisions, concerned about abortion, women's reproductive health, and just advocating as strongly as possible that we have someone that
All
can
those great
really
policies, those
take that case
Democrat
strongly
policies.
and energetically to the voters.
I hope so, Jeff.
Congresswoman Mikey
It
Sherrill
should
there,
be.
Allie, and you were at that meeting yesterday.
Fuck
so
Ukraine.
I'll go to you with this notion. I think two things can
They're a
be
corrupt
true at once.
oligarchy.
And I think a lot of Democrats are being very transparent about this notion that they're acting Trumpy and saying nothing to see here. I don't see that. I see a lot of Democrats saying he had a terrible debate. Maggie Hassan of New Hampshire, terrible night. But Donald Trump had a horrific presidency, and that's where I think Democrats should focus in on, because they're being
Let's focus on that, yeah.
If they just tear President Biden down, but they don't offer an alternative, and right now the alternative is Donald Trump. So if they have questions about Joe Biden's ability to run on this campaign, and a lot of them do, and the questions after the debate, are clear. They're very clear, and people have made them. What happened? Was it a one-off? Was it episodic? Everyone is asking that question. No one is hiding and pretending nothing happened. We all saw it, kind of hard to avoid. So having said that, he also has a record that is historic. He also has a lot of things
It's
to
historic,
say about
all right.
why he should perhaps remain on this campaign, and he also is raising a lot of questions. But the opponent right now is Donald Trump. The opponent right now is arguably certifiable in terms of the things he says on stage. He may say them smoothly.
She's probably
and
got
get a laugh out of
She's
them,
probably got a
but
plug
they're
in,
crazy
Jeff.
or cruel or anti-democratic or downright criminal. Okay, the J6 hostages. And he's a convicted felon. I think Democrats
So we couldn't
need to
get through
stay
more of the
focused
show
on who
without
the
saying
opponent
Trump.
is, what the questions are about Biden, but don't forget his accomplishments. You know what? We can do several things at once, but I wouldn't crucify the one candidate you have right now unless somebody has an incredible alternative that is just a shoo-in, that would fit perfectly, that it works with the process and it represents what the American people
What is she going
wanted.
on about, man? She's having a cow over
I'm
here.
seeing it, and I'm seeing a president who is extremely accomplished, who is running for re-election, who had a terrible night and is raising some questions against the opponent that I just described. You were at the meeting.
She's defending it. Holy shit, man. What the fuck? She's sitting there defending Joe Biden and how these other people should fucking just get on with it. Let's just get on with this, because the world, the very democracy is at stake. Okay, we're going to all of a sudden become an authoritarian government and throw political opponents in jail. Oh, wait, we already do that. Never mind.
Yesterday, what's your reporting out of the meeting? Is anybody stepping up and sort of seeing the parallel here? These two guys running against each other.
A lot of them see the parallel, and a lot of them see exactly what you're talking
Dude, yeah, I think they make him more fucking orange than he is. They changed shit. They've already been caught doing that. They take the photographs, and this is, I need to just bring... They do shit like that. They made who the hell made? They made somebody look like sick, like Joe Rogan, right? When he took the ivermectin and shit, he had COVID and stuff, and they changed the coloring and they made him look like all deathly and green and shit. I think they turn the saturation up and they make Donald Trump look more orange than he is. I mean, look at these two people. They're showing you the two people next to each other, right? What with her just babbling over the fucking over the top of it about how fucking horrendous it was under Donald Trump, right? How horrifying it was, and how look at all this progress. We got to keep going, man. We got to make sure we can continue murdering babies and, cutting off the wankers off of our children. We got to keep progressing with things. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Really, seriously.
About. We focus on the people who are shaky or who might come out or who have come out, like Congresswoman Cheryl. And rightly so, because I think many of us are looking to see if this is an inflection point. But I think even for the people who have been critical, and someone that I think about is Congressman Jerry Nadler, who we reported privately had voiced concerns to his colleagues and then publicly sounded like this when he talked to us outside of that meeting.
Oh, no.
All I'll say is the president made very clear yesterday that he's running. And for me, that's dispositive. We have to support him.
Do you speak with him directly?
Do you have concerns about
What?
Do you have concerns about him being on the top of the ticket?
What the fuck was that? Oh my God. Did you see that? What the hell was that when they ask him a question? Okay. And let me tell you, this guy has shit his pants in public before, in front of the camera. I watched it happen. He waddled the fuck off, man. He filled his pants with a load of crap. This guy that's been melting for the last 10, 15 years in that chair he sits in. Okay? What? How long was that? Holy shit, that was a long pause.
Is beside the point. He's going to be our nominee, and we all have to support him.
Has he done enough to ease your concerns over the last few days?
He has made clear he has made very clear he's running, and that's dispositive to me. We must get behind him. We must support him.
No matter whether he's frickin' dead or not. Whether his head is full of baked beans or not. He is what he's going to be. We're going to do this. We're fucking doing this. We're doing this. We're doing this. You know? I mean, really. You know? I don't know. We had a guy here yesterday, and so he said something about a nice guy, Chris Hayes, or no, maybe it's, I'm getting confused with Jeff, your last name or something. There's a guy named Chris yesterday was in, and made the comment about that my swearing might turn off people, you know. And so I've been kind of thinking about that. You know, every once in a while I do a check on that. But I don't know, man. You know, it's like, I get it. But at the same time, my message is fuck that. Okay. I have a message that says that if you are shamed into not expressing yourself with language, with salty language, then you are guilty of allowing the other people to define the frickin' rules for you and put you in a Christian box of their own making. Okay? Because I'm not to blaspheme God. Okay? And I'm not to attribute things to God that aren't because of God, right? And so this idea that, I mean, what is that, like the thing that I'm going to say that is going to cast me into hell? Now, I understand, you know, the whole idea of, well, you might turn some people off. And if I get a show where I get paid sponsors, right, or something, and when I go on other people's shows, I clean it up, right? But, you know, this is my space, as they say. And so I express myself in a very salty way, and I watch others that it doesn't turn me off whatsoever. And my message is a bit of a polemic message that says, don't let other people tell you that you should be fucking nice because you're Christian. The time to be nice is way, way the hell over, right? And I'm not going to sit here and say HE double hockey sticks and stupid shit like that. Okay, the word dung is in the Bible. It's just at the time they said it was dung. Right? So for me to say that's shit, it's shit. It's bullshit. So I get it, and I wish I would have addressed it at the time, maybe a little bit, because he's not here to talk about it. But I don't mean to talk about it behind his back or nothing. But again, I don't know, whatever your opinion is on the subject. But I mean, clearly, I haven't, alienated everyone with my language. Hopefully not. But it's sometimes, I mean, when you especially when you get to this point, when we're watching what we're watching, I mean, I have to express deeply the way I feel about this stuff because it's just that crazy. And so, yeah, so, I mean, I guess, judge me if you want. I mean, I don't think God's going to judge me for it in the end. I don't believe it's going to be a disqualifying thing for me, right? And hopefully, and I mean, I've had people that have come to know Christ, through my teaching and preaching and stuff like that. And so it's not about numbers or anything like that. It's just saying that, I obviously don't alienate everyone. And so whoever's supposed to hear me and hear what I have to say, they will. And I guess if other people get offended by something, then, then I guess they have a hardness of their heart they're going to have to deal with, right? Because it's not about none of this is about how many people. I mean, I want to get a broad message, right? But I want an authentic message to go out there. And I think I do that pretty well. I work really hard at it. We both do. And so, yeah, I don't know. I'll just continue to mull it over. And like I said, usually I think for me, in my space, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do the way I do it, which is the most comfortable thing for me at the moment. Still, until I get convicted otherwise. And when I go on other people's shows, because I need to make the circuit, right, to eventually possibly make this, a paying career, maybe something more regular, then that I don't want to blow my chances there. As a matter of fact, I was on a show. I was on TNT Radio, and Matt Baker, who I love a great deal, was guest hosting for Jason Burmis. And I got on the show, man, and like one of the first things Matt did was dropped a big old F-bomb. And I was like, whoa, I wasn't expecting it, because I was like, the TNT radio is like, I've never been on with anybody that's ever said any swear words at all. So I was like pretty shocked by that. And so I think that, well, no, I mean, considering that Paul, who, happened to murder a few Christians, he persecuted a lot of Christians, wrote 2/3 of the New Testament. People can be very, very silly and pharisaical about rules. And then they, like I said, they well, and then I guess that's the way with the whole swearing or being salty or cursing or however you want to put it, is that I feel like there are modern day Pharisees. That those people aren't Christian, that are shutting us down, or that are trolls or trying to get us to shut up or whatever. Right? They're not. And so, it's like, what the hell? You don't know what you're talking about anyway, because you're just using scripture, out of context. But I mean, Jesus flipped tables, okay? I mean, we're not supposed to be nice to everybody all the time. And so there's, and so when these Pharisees come, and let me tell you something as I'm talking about it, because now this is a perfect segue into this. And then I'm going to kind of wrap this up in a few minutes because I didn't really want to go over 2 hours. What we're looking at, okay, I preached on Sunday about, and I don't swear in church on Sunday, generally speaking. But the Pharisees, okay, were the religious, crusty ruling class walking around with their long robes and their long tassels and all that kind of stuff. And oh wow, cool. Adam says we have Gerald Celente coming on TNT today for Johnny Vedmore show. There'll be plenty of F-bombs there, sure. Okay, cool. All right. Yeah, well, I don't know what all the rules are, right? And so, but again, I think to a certain degree, I understand that there's some there's a line of professionalism at some point that I try to get to, because I think that intellectually speaking, I think people will tend to take you more seriously, and then they will discount you because of the language, and they'll just focus on that, such as they focus on Donald Trump's crudeness, right? You just can't stand Donald Trump. He's just so awful. He calls people, fat pigs and, stuff like that. And they just use it as an excuse to discount the message. So it can be argued both ways. And so the way I kind of figure it is that I'm going to go on, I'm going to put out material in one direction and content in one direction. And then when I go other places, I'm going to do it based on whatever suits the moment, right? So, absolutely. It's good to have you here, Adam. It really is. Nice to see you. So, as I was saying, and like I said, I preached on Sunday about the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the scribes and all that. But they were the, the elite ruling class. They were the ones that made all the damn rules, okay? And they made a bunch of rules called the oral tradition that was surrounding the actual scripture, the laws of the Torah, and they made these ridiculous rules. Okay, they just overburdened everyone with rules. Are you getting in the drift of where I'm going with any of this right now? These people right here, okay, like these people like here, like this, and Nancy Pelosi, and all of them, right? They are the modern day Pharisees. Now, the Catholic Church is also another comparison. But I mean, these people, like, if you think about it, they profess, well, many of them profess to be Christians and Catholics, right? While belonging to a party that advocates for, killing of children in the womb, right? Up until the point of, actually, people have mentioned infanticide. We'll decide whether or not the mom wants the baby. Can't remember what governor that was that said that, but. And so they make all these rules, right? These are the people that are supposed to be the arbiters of virtue. That's what they set themselves up, that they are morally, they're the morally right. Which is why they're trying to shove this baked potato, this twice baked potato, okay, over the damned finish line, right? They're trying to cram them over at all costs because it's all about the platform and the strategy and the shit. And let me tell you, America's had enough of this. Okay? Yeah, I agree. It's best to use it. If you use it too much and then yeah, it gets old. I think Red Fox. When you watch any old Red Fox, it was about the same way. My mom took me to see him when I was a little kid. My mom. Anyway, never mind. So, yeah, these people, right, are the ones that walk around with the long robes and the long tassels, and they're absolutely freaking out. Like, just when Jesus came onto the scene, they're going nuts. Because Jesus came on and he said, look, what the heck is going on here, right? Your silly laws and all this kind of stuff. You need the spirit of the law has been damaged and broken, and you don't do it right. And you're blind guides, and you're all full of crap. And you're gonna be burn, wither, and burning, and be thrown into the fire. Brood of vipers. Okay? Now, you see any comparisons here? Right? I mean, I'm preaching at you right now a little bit. Because that's exactly what these people are. And you might lose your darn mind if I say right now that Donald Trump is a Christ-like figure in this story, this narrative, right? He is. He's the disruptor right now. He's the one that's coming in and saying, now, all this current political and religious order, this is all messed up. This is all wrong. It's all on its head. And everybody's losing their ever-living flipping minds, right? I lost my best friend, the last friend that I had, until I made a whole bunch of new ones now with this whole Truth Slinger project. But yeah, over that very issue, that's where the split came between the two of us, right? So yeah, Let me get my coffee cup off my face here. That's what it is. We're dealing with these people that have set themselves up, at the pompous elite, right? That we're supposed to believe that don't exist, and every one of these pricks, okay, all of them are multimillionaires, all of them, off of public service. Look, way back when, I belonged to organizations and stuff, and then you went to the bigger organizing agency, and it was a volunteer job, right? You just go and you serve, and you're not allowed to serve for like more than a couple times because you're taking the opportunity away from somebody else to serve. That's the way this government should be run, if anything at all. Not to have these career politicians there for a gazillion years until they're dead. Like remember Dianne Feinstein? Oh, my Lord. They did wheel her into, she's like a crypt keeper. She had any idea where she was. She thought she was in Washington the whole time. That's what she told a reporter. And then she's voting. Okay? And I'll tell you, you want to have a test for Donald Trump and both of them? Fine. Any day of the week. And they should play golf, too. Although that's never going to happen, right? So anyway, God, man, I've yacked at you enough. I have done it just about 2 hours, man, and that's a trek. I enjoyed everybody that tuned in this morning. It was really nice to see Adam here. I will definitely, glad for that plug. I will go check out Johnny Vedmore today. This guy that you're talking about, I'm not familiar with who he is, but yeah, if you don't know Adam works over there at TNT Radio, and he does some nice reporting over there and fills in and does some production work over there and helps scheduling and talks to me. And he's a good guy, and he's a great friend, and he's a great supporter and a great contributor. And Jeff is also a great friend of ours, great friend of the show. And I think Denise is already gone. She's a great, fantastic supporter of the show, both with her comments and her wit, and she's funny, and she's helps and contributed to us. And so, again, it's that time of the show where I, got to talk about the nasty thing, and that's we produce this thing, and it's a passion project, but we sure would like to be able to do this in a way that I can spend more time in researching and putting together clips for you and making sure the curation is good, and just be able to have it support us, and so that we can do what we love to do, which is bring you the news in a really raw and unfiltered way, and commentary, and hopefully a lot of humor. And today wasn't as funny because Mama went down, and she's just such a good counterbalance to me. And I missed her during the show. I missed her a whole lot. But yeah, okay. Gerald Celente is old school. You'll love him. I'll definitely check it out. What's the time slot today, Adam? What time is he going to be on? Yeah, I'll definitely watch that. I don't think I'm going to be working outside today, man. It's a little stinky hot. But yeah, trying to get this all stuff done, right? So we've got a lot on our plate. I've got a lot on my plate, and you can see again, that Mama's sometimes not always up, right? So that's unfortunate, and she's got a tough time. She's a poor woman, and I love her desperately and deeply, but it's difficult because I've got to take care of both of us. So, but anyway, any help you can provide, and by liking, sharing, subscribing, following, make sure you like and bookmark, because that gives us a 30x boost in the viewership. And follow us on all our platforms. I've got a link tree down there if you wanted to contribute in any way, or go look at our Substack where I write articles and things, and just check us out on X. Keep following us. We really enjoyed having you today. I enjoyed trying to make sense of this shit again together. And tomorrow we're going to try to do it all over again. And I'm sure there'll be tons of news between now and then. So I best get on with it and start curating that news, right? So anyway, that's it for me. I need to get another cup of coffee because I couldn't do that because there was nobody here to carry the show. So I'm still only on my second cup, and it's starting to show. So anyway, thanks very much. My name is Tim. I'm your True Slinger. Jen, she's over there. We out of here.